Hi guys, it's Angie with Fun Endeavors Tie-Dye Lab. Today I'm going to make an incline twist and I'm going to use one of Dharma Trading Company's zombie colors. I think that an incline twist design is great to show any kind of color splits that a dye color has. I've done several of these and I've used one single color of dye and I just really love the way it showcases the color splits. So I'm using one of the 2022 Halloween zombie colors from Dharma Trading Company, and I really want to see the color splits. So I'm going to use this design. I also found a really cute little white t-shirt at Michael's, and it has 3 little ghosts up on the lapel. So I thought this would be perfect for Halloween. So I really don't tie this design. For this shirt, I just grabbed one of the sleeves of the shirt and started to twist. Then I put it inside of a piece of long vinyl guttering, tied a piece of kite string to the very end so that it doesn't slide down into the muck, and then I used a little clip to clip the kite string on the end of the guttering. Now I've loaded a layer of ice on top of the shirt, and I'm going to place Dusty Rose from Dharma Trading Company over the top. I've inclined the hoodie by taking one end of the vinyl guttering and propping it up on a chair that I have outside, and then I have the other end inside of a plastic container. I'm sorry about the camera angle, you're getting a whole lot of my head in this shot. By the way, as you can see, I always wear my respirator even when I'm working with the dye outside. In general, I'm usually pretty heavy-handed with the dye, but I'm kind of trying to restrain myself because I think I get better color splits when I don't put quite as much dye over the top of the ice. Now I'm going to add a sprinkle of soda ash over the top of the dye. And there you have it. That's pretty much all there is to this design. From here, I'm going to let the ice melt, and then I'm going to leave it alone. I don't want to add any more dye, and I don't want to add any more ice. The shirt was outside, so I just left it alone, allowed all the ice to melt, and I took a lid from a container and kind of propped it up over the top of the guttering. It didn't really cover it, but it kind of kept stuff out of the guttering. I left it for about 24 hours after the ice melted, and then I took it to my utility sink to rinse it. I did the normal rinse out process. I used a pair of scissors to cut off the piece of kite string which I'd put on the end of the shirt to keep it out of the muck. And then I rinsed it in cold water to rinse out the soda ash, warmed the water up to hot water to try to rinse out the excess dye, and then I went ahead and soaked the shirt. I placed a little bit of hot water either inside my sink or inside a plastic container, added some Blue Dawn dish detergent to the water, and allowed the shirt to soak. When the water cooled off, I changed it out and I continued that soaking process until the water was almost clear. Then I put the shirt, along with some Dharma's professional textile detergent, into my washing machine and washed it using a hot water cycle. Okay, so here's what the shirt looks like after it's been washed and dried. So how cool is this color? I was shocked at all the different colors that came out of it. I was expecting the pinks and even a little bit of the darker colors, but that kind of creamy yellowy color, I wasn't expecting that one at all. I think it looks really cool though. I think that the incline twist is a great design to show off all the color splits of a color. Every color that I've ever used this on, I see those big long streaks of all the color splits, and I think it's really cool. I knew that the zombie colors were going to have really cool color splits, so that's one reason why I've kind of used this design, is to showcase those color splits. I've done a shirt like this with Stormageddon, I did one with Moose, and with the Vintage Red. I don't have the Moose and Vintage Red posted yet, but I do have the Stormageddon, and I'll put a link down below in the description for this video. I mixed up some liquid dye of these colors so that I could make some color swatches. And at the end of this video, I'm going to show you how I made a pair of marbled socks to match the shirt. But what do you guys think about this color? I just think it's really cool. So far, I haven't hit any of the zombie colors that I don't like. I've used all of them, and about the only two that I haven't used individually in large projects like this are the Bracken and the Rust Orange. I used those two on a project together and love the different color splits on those. By the way, I know these colors sold out really fast. They sold out the first time super fast, and so Dharma came back and added a few more. Then they sold out really quickly again. So if you didn't happen to get any of the zombie colors, there is a group out on Facebook called Tie-Dye Supplies Marketplace, and I'll put a link down below in the description for this video. People resell those dyes who've purchased the larger size that you can buy. You can do a special order of some of these special dyes, and then they break them up into smaller quantities and sell them on that site. So you still have an opportunity to get the colors. Okay, so now that I've done the shirt, let me do a quick pair of socks to match this shirt, and I'm going to do those with the marbling technique using the liquid dye and shaving cream. So I had some Vintage Red and some Dusty Rose mixed up that I'd use to make some color swatches, and I decided to go ahead and make some socks too. I'm going to do the marbled socks. So I'm using one of my plastic dish pans, and I'm adding a layer of shaving cream to the bottom. It doesn't have to be real thick. I've also found that it works better too if I use a little bit of water and dilute down the shaving cream. I want it to be creamy, but I don't want it to be quite as thick as it is when it comes out of the can. I'm going to use a plastic spoon and just kind of mix that around, and then I'm going to smooth out the surface of the shaving cream. I like the shaving cream to be kind of the consistency of meringue. Now I'm going to drizzle on a little bit of the Vintage Red and the Dusty Rose over the top of the shaving cream. You can add as much color or as little color as you'd like. Obviously, the more color you add onto the shaving cream, the less white you're going to have on the socks. Then I'm using one of my stainless steel lab spoons that is super tiny, and just kind of swirling those two colors together along with the shaving cream. Here again, the more swirls, the less white I have left, and so on. I've soaked the socks in a soda ash solution and then wrung them out just with my hands until they were barely damp. I don't want a whole lot of white left on these socks, so I'm adding quite a bit of color. Along with the Vintage Red and the Dusty Rose, I went ahead and added a little bit of Stormageddon that I had mixed up as well. I'm also going to do both of the socks in one container. If I'm doing the long socks, I have to use a separate container for each sock. But because these are the shorter, kind of no-show socks, I'm going to try doing them in one container. I'm going to press both of the socks down inside of the shaving cream. And then somebody suggested that I leave them for a few minutes in the shaving cream, and that gives enough time for the dye to soak into the socks. Then after a few minutes, I'm going to flip the socks over and put the other side into the shaving cream. After I flip the socks over and place the other side into the shaving cream, I kind of pressed it down into the shaving cream, and then I actually just left the socks alone. I didn't feel the need to take them out of the shaving cream. I just thought I would let them process inside the shaving cream. So I left them for about 24 hours before I started rinsing them out. So this is what it looked like right before I started rinsing. As you can see, the dye kind of makes a weird crust on the very top of the shaving cream. I rinsed them really well in hot water before putting them in my washing machine along with some Dharma's professional textile detergent. I washed them on a hot water cycle, and this is what they look like. Okay, so what do you think about the socks? I think they look really cool. I think they match the shirt really well too. So I think this is a fun little set with the socks to match the shirt and the shirt with the little ghosts up in the lapel portion. And of course, I love this color. I think it's just a really pretty color. And if you guys have enjoyed watching me experiment with these zombie colors and enjoy the content on my YouTube channel, I sure would appreciate it if you would like the video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a great day.